What do you think about religion in Canada? Is it still important to them?
No, especially if you're younger. It's becoming less and less and less of an important topic to discuss. And also after visiting in 2016, I was amazed by the family focus, how important it was, how central it is to the whole culture. And he would chat with me about Islam. At that time, I was totally uninterested. He said, is it possible that you've been misguided about religion? Out of the blue. And I thought, well, yeah, of course it's possible. So I went to this bookstore and I went to the religion section. Okay. And sure enough, there was just one dog-eared old copy of this Muhammad Marmaduke Pickthall translation.
Prepared for you, I guess.
It's almost like it was waiting for me as I was there. Yeah. Took it home and of course I read it. By the time I got to the end, like something just went clunk for me. Like it just, I go, this is it. And there was an ayat at the end. It said, God is always willing to forgive. And so when I read that, I thought, okay, there's a chance for me. So why did I move to Indonesia? I decided to adopt many years ago. I call it the single income family or the sole breadwinner family. In Canada, that dream died in about 1972. It's now very common for both parents to go and work in Canada. Mom works full-time, the dad works full-time. And I just never agreed with that situation. I never thought that was an ideal setup. I was thinking about moving from Canada. I decided that Indonesia would make sense. And I think the Indonesian culture supports that dream. Whereas in the West, in Canada, that dream died.
Nah itu dia teman-teman ya, Andrew Heymers. Jadi beliau ini membuat kami penasaran ya. Saya sama Indra itu cukup penasaran ketika beliau menyampaikan value-value yang menurut kami itu luar biasa banget. Value-nya itu ada value Islamnya ya, dan ternyata orang-orang Kanada itu ketika dulu, tadi kita sempat ngobrol nih, ya kita ngobrol bahwa di tahun 1970-an orang-orang Kanada memang punya value seperti itu juga. Bagaimana seorang istri itu memang tinggal di rumah, melakukan pekerjaan rumah tangga, dan suaminya itu memang mencari nafkah keluar gitu, Indra.
Yeah.
Dan kita udah bersama Andrew. Hai Andrew.
Hey, good morning.
Assalamualaikum, Andrew.
Alaikumsalam. Thanks for having me there.
Yes.
How are you, Andrew?
I'm doing great. This is a really nice meeting room.
Okay.
Yeah,
I love the air conditioning, so I appreciate that.
Jadi pertama-tama teman-teman saya mau sampaikan dulu bahwa karena ini podcastnya berbahasa Inggris. Kalau teman-teman tahu nanti mungkin bisa teman-teman kita kasih tahu ada satu aplikasi AI memang di mana aplikasi tersebut lumayan membantu saya. Jadi nanti ketika Andrew ngomong ini akan ke-translate di sini dan saya akan membaca. Dan kalau pertanyaan kita udah memang menyiapkan. Jadi Andrew setidaknya kita tanyanya pakai bahasa Inggris. Okay, Andrew.
Here we are.
How long have you been in Indonesia?
Since 2017. I got here in August.
In
So
August
it's been about
2017.
7 years almost.
7 years.
Yeah.
And 7 years you cannot speak bahasa.
I know, it's very sad, isn't it? Sedikit. Well, I don't know why, but my wife, she speaks English, and she insists on speaking English at home.
She's Indonesian.
That's right. Yeah, she's from Pasar Minggu.
Pasar Minggu.
Pasar Minggu.
Oh, Pasar Minggu.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've spoken English the whole time. I've only worked as an English teacher.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have all these excuses about why, but I need to learn it. You're right.
Yeah.
And
Because it's been 7 years.
Yes, 7 years.
Please do
Right?
so.
It's like, hurry up. Come on.
Okay.
And what do you feel about living in Indonesia?
I feel like it's a great refuge for me. It's a place of safety and freedom and some comfort. Not always comfortable, but to me, it's a great place to raise a family.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I left Canada.
But I heard in Canada is one of the
Safety country.
safety country, one of the safety country in dunia, Indra?
Yeah, in the world.
In the
Is
world.
it true?
Well, I think
Kanada.
it depends on safety. There's physical safety. You know, am I going to get robbed? Am I going to get shot? That kind of thing.
Oh.
Okay.
And then there's also safety of, can you say what you want to say?
Oh, okay.
So there's,
Yeah.
in that second way, I would say it's not as safe as perhaps other places.
Okay. It
'Cause there's a lot
depends.
of restriction on what you can say there,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it depends like how you see like about influence there in Canada. Is it much bad influence or something?
Influence like what?
I don't know, like hedonistic lifestyle.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah, not related to safety though. Yeah, I think there's a huge problem with the culture there as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Canada over a while embraced this idea of, moving away from religion.
Okay.
And it happened, I think, in 1971. There was a big change in direction. Most people would say, I'm a Christian, or I'm a Muslim, or they had some idea of their religion. Whereas today, one of the most common answers to what's your religion is no religion.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was another reason why I left, because I think it impacted the culture in a big way, in a bad way too. Yeah.
So, what do you think about religion in Canada? Is it still important to them? Like, they see something based on religion values?
No, especially if you're younger. So if you're 30 years old, maybe you're younger, it's becoming less and less and less of an important topic to discuss. But if you're older, say 60 years old, it's still important.
Okay.
But for the youth, it appears to be increasingly irrelevant. Yeah, unfortunately.
Are they still teaching about religion in schools?
I don't know. I haven't been there in a while.
Maybe
I'm
you heard
51,
from
so it's
your
been a long
relative?
time. To my knowledge, no. I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh.
But you can enroll in a school that teaches religion. But the public schools, I don't think, feature it very much, as far as I know.
Okay, so they have to go to a specific school.
That's right.
To learn
you can
about
go to
religion.
a private school for Christianity or private school for
okay.
Islam. But
Okay.
outside that, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay, Andrew, we saw the video. Yeah. In the video, you mentioned you want to raise your children in Indonesia.
That's right.
Why, Andrew?
Couple reasons. Like I said, Indonesia for me is a refuge away from the insanity of what's been going on in the Western countries in Canada. And I read a while ago that there's this thing called cycles, and certain countries become important, they become leaders in the world, and then they have just a natural decline. And so I learned that China was going to be the number one economy in the world. And that combined with my wife being from Indonesia, it just made sense for us to go to a place, A, where Islam is the standard, and B, it's going to be closer to China where this economic powerhouse is going to rise up.
Okay.
And also after visiting in 2016, I was amazed by the family focus.
That's the first time you visit Indonesia.
Yeah, just the focus on family and how important it was, how central it is to the whole culture,
Okay.
and how different that was from my experience in Canada. Not that my family's bad, it's just it wasn't really part of our culture to be together, to really make a clear and definite goal to be together all the time. Whereas here it is. So I wanted my sons to see that example.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the first time you visit Indonesia in 2016. On what occasion? It's Lebaran. Or
we
Idul Fitri?
were here in October, so it wasn't for a special occasion.
Okay.
It just was when I got some time off work, and I could
Okay.
visit for about 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just how did you learn about Islam?
Yeah. There's a long version of the story that goes back to 2001.
And that's before you married?
That's right, long before.
Okay.
I met a man from Bangladesh when I was in Texas.
Oh, okay.
And I just moved there to Dallas, and he was living there.
Dallas, Texas.
That's right.
Okay.
And I was looking for an apartment. And he just walked into my office and said, "Hey, I'm Olive. I have an apartment. You want to rent here?" And I thought he was really strange. He told me he was Muslim and it's important for Muslims to take care of wayfarers. I didn't understand any of that.
Okay.
And so he took me and showed me his apartment, and I did rent a room from him. And he would chat with me about Islam. At that time, I was totally uninterested. I didn't know anything about religion. But he asked me a question. He said, "Is it possible that you've been misguided about religion?"
Okay. He asked you that?
Yeah, just out of the blue. And I thought, well, yeah, of course it's possible.
Okay.
And at that moment, I think something changed in my life. Even though I didn't decide to embrace religion, about 3 years later, unfortunately, my marriage did not work out. I ended up getting divorced.
Oh, your first marriage?
Yeah, it
Okay.
was really, really bad for me.
Okay.
And during that time, I started to question
Sorry to hear
everything.
that.
Thank you. I just questioned everything about my whole life. And I wasn't much of a reader at that point. And one of the few books that I had read is The 7 Habits.
Seven
from
Habits.
Covey.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so
By
I
Stephen Covey.
yeah. So I thought I'll just pick that up again. Maybe it'll give me some answers. So I reread that. I got to the back, and there was a list of books at the back called Wisdom Literature. So I just began methodically reading all of those books right from the very beginning of the list. So there was the Bhagavad Gita, which I read, and others. And about halfway down was this book called Quran.
MasyaAllah.
And it was a very specific translation by Muhammad Marmaduke Pickthall.
Marmaduke Pickthall, yes.
Right. So I thought, okay, how do I get this book? So there was a used bookstore in my city, which I visited. I walked all the way there.
That's when you're in Dallas.
No, at this time I was in Winnipeg.
Back in Canada.
Back in Canada, yeah, in the winter. So I went to this bookstore and I went to the religion section.
Okay.
And sure enough, there was just one dog-eared old copy of this Muhammad Marmaduke Pickthall translation.
Prepared for you, I guess.
It's almost like it was waiting for me as I was there, yeah. So of course I picked it up. It was $3.50 Canadian. I still remember the price. Took it home and of course I read it. And by the time I got to the end, like something just went clunk for me. Like it just... I go, this is it, because I
you
read
it literally through the page.
Yeah,
each page,
cover to cover, like every word. Yeah,
wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then I felt very depressed at the end. I felt like, how can I, this humble man, possibly achieve this standard of behavior? Like I'm so far from that, I can never achieve it. So I decided to read it again, and I did a second reading and got to the back, and I was still just upset and depressed. I knew this was it. But who am I to achieve that standard, you know? And there was an ayat at the end. It said, God is always willing to forgive. And so when I read that, I thought, okay, there's a chance for me. Yeah, because if the Quran was delivered over 20 years, I gave myself 20 years to take what was in the Quran and apply it to my life, you know, reasonably. So I started with things that I could do, like dropping pork and alcohol, just things that I could do right away. And then I gradually started to add in things as I went along to become more consistent with the message.
That's 2003? 2004?
Right.
When the
so
first time you read the Marmaduke Pickthall?
That's right. Yeah.
2004.
Yeah.
2004.
Yeah.
2004. Yeah, about 10 years before getting married.
10 years before getting married with your wife right now?
That's right.
Oke.
Yeah.
Menarik ya Hendra ya, maksudnya kalau jadi sebelum dia nikah juga sebenarnya dia mempelajari Islam sebenarnya ya.
Jadi memang belajar Islamnya memang dari awal mulanya sendiri dulu memang. Allah berikan hidayahnya beli Quran, baca sendiri gitu, dan baru menikah dengan wanita muslimah itu 10 tahun kemudian. 10 tahun kemudian.
Dan tadi menarik ketika dia bilang dia udah menjauh dari alkohol sama makan babi ya tadi Hendra ya. Benar ya? Gitu ya? Itu menarik banget loh, karena kan sangat susah. Coba Andra sampein.
Is it hard for you to stay away from pork and liquor, alcohol?
No, those were the two easiest by far to get.
Wow.
I was off that within the same day. That I read the Quran, that was my last pork.
Wow.
My last alcohol.
MasyaAllah.
But that for me was easy. I understand for some people that would be very hard.
Before this podcast, we meet someone, he said it's hard to
leave pork,
to leave the pork because breakfast, lunch, and eat pork.
For me, I was not a pork eater even before, so no problem at all. Likewise for alcohol, it wasn't a big thing at the time, so.
But alcohol is maybe the hardest part. I think, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, because when winter, you
in
must
cold in Canada.
Part of the culture is going out on weekends and getting drunk. Okay, where are we gonna go this weekend? And so you race to the bar and you're drinking booze, but it's all about who you hang out with.
Okay.
So for me, it was about changing friends. That was the hardest part.
Yes.
Not the alcohol.
But
changing, that was the hardest because I had to have all new friends, whole new everything. I knew no Muslims in Canada, not a single person.
Ini keren banget sih Indra, apa yang dikatakan Andrew ya teman-teman, bahwa minum alkohol atau makan babi itu ya bukan bagian yang susah buat beliau gitu ya. Tapi yang susah itu malah lingkungannya.
Mengganti lingkungan.
Menggantikan lingkungan, dan itu kan udah jelas ada di dalam Islam juga, Andra ya. Dan memang bagaimana kita sangat-sangat bisa sekali terpengaruh ketika teman-teman kita itu ada di lingkungan yang mana. Ketika lingkungan itu baik, ya insya Allah kita akan jadi baik juga. Dan ada hadisnya juga, teman-teman sudah tahu semua mungkin gitu ya. Ini menarik banget sih, Indra ya. Bagaimana value-value udah dari lama ya, Indra ya.
Iya, it's a good point that you explained to us about if you want to change, you have to change your environment, your friends.
Yeah, I mean, you change your mind first, and then
your mind first.
Change. So I made a decision to have new friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to make your decision first inside your mind. And then there's an ayat about that, if I'm not mistaken. You change who you are inside first, and then God changes your circumstances. So you've got to really be willing to say, I need all new friends. And that's the hardest part, in my opinion. And it was so hard that was one of the reasons to move, actually. Was... you become what you think about. So if you go to an environment where everybody is Muslim, you're going to be like them.
Okay. Are they seeing you strangely?
I'm sorry, what?
Are they seeing you strangely after you leave pork, you leave alcohol?
No.
Andrew, what happens to you?
I was not a very nice person at the time. I was very isolated. I was divorced, depressed, just really not in good shape. So I kind of became this man in a cave, away from everybody.
Okay.
So I started over completely.
Okay.
Tapi memang mungkin salah satu keputusan yang tepat adalah ketika dia tuh pindah ya, Andra ya. Pindah ke sini ya. Artinya kan secara lingkungan juga sangat membantu dia yang memang sudah nggak minum sama makan babi lagi.
Tapi pindahnya itu jauh juga kan berarti dari 2004 baca Quran, kemudian mulai meninggalkan alkohol, merubah teman-temannya, 10 tahun kemudian kan menikah.
Iya. Gitu. Itu boleh tanya Andra, gimana dia kok bisa nikah sama...
How did you first meet your wife?
Okay, got it. Yeah, back in 2013. I was in Canada, and I'd already decided that I wanted to marry a woman from Islam. Okay. But it was important that she wasn't raised in Canada as well. So I wanted to A, Islam, B, not from Canada.
That's very specific.
Yeah, very. Yeah. So I think I went online to a dating site. I forget the name of it right now, but I just simply typed in, you know how you can select the attributes, it was what religion do you want? So I would select Islam.
2013 is Tinder
right. I don't think it was Tinder at the time. It did not exist, but other ones did. I don't know. So I found this profile of a woman. And I clicked on it and I contacted her. We chatted and we met, I think, the next day or two, right around Valentine's Day in 2014.
She lived in Canada.
That's right. She'd already moved here from Indonesia by herself. And so we met and we got along very well. And within a few days, I thought, okay, this is it. So we got married within 5 months after that.
Wow, masyaAllah.
In Canada,
Yeah.
Because, I mean, she had already made a list as well of all the things she wanted in a man. Like, she had this all laid out.
And
when she looked at me, she checked the list. She goes, okay, it's all there. And I checked my list. It was all there. So what are we waiting for? So we got married.
2013.
14, in February 14.
February.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you get along with different culture from your wife?
In Canada?
Yeah.
It was relatively easy at the time. Because she had adapted to Canadian culture quite strongly. The biggest adaptation was just being a married person, actually.
Why?
Learning how to think like a married person. I think I mentioned this in my video. My dream had been to have a single income household. Where me, the man, would be the breadwinner, I'd earn the money, and my wife would be at home. And she would take care of the house and the children. So
that's a good point.
That was my dream. Yeah, I learned that lesson not just from the Quran, but from my own parents, who had a lot of struggles with money. And my mother worked full time, and I thought that was one of the reasons why their marriage didn't work. So I wanted with my marriage for my wife not to work, unless, or maybe I'll make an exception. I wanted her to have the choice. So you want to work, honey? That's fine. Go and work. But if you don't want to, just stay home, please. Yeah, it's your choice. Right? I'd rather you stay home. But you don't have to work. Yeah, and that was a little bit of a struggle for a while because I think she kind of wanted to work for a while.
Yeah.
She wanted to have a job and her own income, and I think it took a while for her to realize, I don't have to have a job, you know. I don't have to have my own money anymore. I don't have to have my own source of income, and that took a while for her to adjust to that. I think, even being Muslim herself, it still took a while. Yeah.
Andrew, if I'm not mistaken, your reason moving to Indonesia because here women don't have to work. Is it right?
It's because I don't know. I think a lot of women do work here. You know, I'm not judging them on their habits, but I'm just saying the culture supports my dream. So my dream is to have single income man as the supporter, and this culture supports that. Whereas in Canada, it's like, what are you doing? Your wife doesn't work. What's the matter with you? And also financially, there's a lot of reasons why the woman has to work.
Yeah.
I mean, just to pay for your house and car, the wife has to go and have an income. Whereas here, it is more doable financially to be a single income earner. And support the family.
And interesting when you say about you want to raise your children in Indonesia,
right?
But coba tolong Dra, anaknya tuh di mana sekarang? Anaknya dan sekarang kayak gimana, umur berapa segala macam, Dra?
How old are your kids right now?
My oldest boy is 8.
Okay.
8 years old. Yeah, he was born in Canada.
Yeah.
Okay. My youngest is 4. He just turned.
Okay.
His name is Noah.
And you want to bring them here?
They've been here the whole time.
Udah di sini.
Udah sini.
Yeah, my son Adam was about 1, not quite when we moved here. He's only really known Indonesia, really.
Okay.
And of course, my 4-year-old was born here. Yeah, he's only ever known Indonesia.
So, do you think does it have impact of woman not working and taking care of your children?
Yeah, huge. You know, especially if the woman is willing to take some extra responsibilities. So if a woman is willing to become a teacher, trainer, organizer of the children's activities, that can make a huge difference.
MasyaAllah.
Like I mean, you probably know better than me, but it's made a huge difference for us. We've been able to be blessed having our children at home. It's such a blessing to have them at home. Have mama there guiding them through the different courses that we select.
He has goosebumps.
Yeah, goosebumps when you said that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because it just feels so right.
Yeah.
It feels so proper to set it up like that. But I came from clown world where everything was upside down and what's the matter? Send your wife to work. I mean, it never seemed right to me. It was always backward.
Because in Islam, our Islamic scholar always tell us that woman is the key to build a nation.
I got it.
So it starts from educating our children. Focusing on them. Gitu. That is why he has a goosebump that you have the same views.
Bilang aja.
It's just so reasonable. It just works. And one of the reasons why I'm so adamant about it is because I saw what it looks like when you don't do that. So you can learn from the mistakes of others. I came from that area where we're trying so hard not to do it that way. And it so obviously doesn't work.
That's a good point. Really.
Bilang aja gini, gue tuh kan bukan dulu sampai sekarang kan masih mencoba untuk bini gue kan tetap masih kerja nih ya. Tapi walaupun memang udah banyak waktu fokusnya tuh untuk di Indonesia, untuk di rumah gitu loh. Dan itu kita memang merasakan hal yang berbeda juga. Dan di agama kita kan diajarkan bahwa memang ya madrasah pertama itu ibu kita dan kedekatan kita sama anak-anak kita sama ibu tuh sangat berpengaruh besar. Itu boleh lo sampaikan juga, Andra.
Panjang ya?
Panjang memang.
Gak berat ini. It's kind of hard to translate.
I'm trying to follow, the best I can. What are they saying?
Maybe you're the one who should wear that.
I should have my own little translator.
Nggak, ini kan bahasa Indonesia, Andra. Beda. Beda ininya.
Ini di setting, jadi ngomong bahasa Indonesia dia ini.
Ya nanti next gitu kali ya, Nah, ini harus di setting dulu soalnya.
Harus setting dulu.
But I amazed. We amazed ya. We amazed about your prinsip apa sih, Indra? Prinsip juga
ya? Principle.
About your prinsip. Ya.
Okay.
Woman
better stay at home.
Stay at home.
If possible, yeah.
If possible,
Yeah, if
yeah.
possible.
That should be the goal.
Yeah.
Or the idea.
My wife
Yeah.
is apa Andra bilang?
He's working also. His
Working
wife
also.
Yeah.
Also
But
working.
I told her that you have to stay bukan stay gimana Andra? Lebih lama kalau bisa tuh waktu mana anak
Stay
gimana?
more longer in home.
In home,
Right.
with kids. My kids in the morning. Nggak ngomong apa? Gue susah ngomongin. Paginya itu anak-anak gue sekolah, tapi kalau udah sore pulang gue minta bini gue tuh di rumah gitu loh.
He wanted his wife to stay more longer in home, raising kids, stay with the routinity, preparing their breakfast, something like that.
So if you can get that set up that way, my gosh. It is seriously the best possible setup if you can get it working out that way. God willing, if you can get it that way.
Dan teman-teman, sorry ini apa potong apa? I cut you.
Okay. It's your podcast.
Andrew, I explain to them ya.
Okay.
Teman-teman ini menarik banget. Jadi Andrew ini merasakan sendiri value dari Islam ya Andra ya.
Yeah.
Bagaimana memang tugas utama dari seorang laki-laki atau seorang bapak, seorang suami itu adalah mencari nafkah.
Iya.
Nah,
betul.
Seorang ibu dan guru-guru kita juga bilang boleh bekerja tapi jangan sampai lupa dengan tugas utamanya, yaitu bagaimana mengurus rumah kita, anak-anak kita, gitu kan. Nah ini menarik dan dia tadi bilang sendiri bahwa itu terjadi sama saya. Bagaimana dulu bahasanya istri saya kerja sama istri saya tinggal di rumah, itu dia ngerasain dampak yang begitu luar biasa. Maksudnya ini seorang bukan orang Indonesia, terus agamanya apa Andra ini?
Muslim.
Oh ya.
You're Muslim since 2004.
Oh udah Muslim.
Already.
Already. Dan dia Muslim, dia mempelajari ini dan dia menerapkan. Itu keren banget dan kita sering membicarakan ya Andra ya. Bagaimana seorang yang orang yang mualaf itu benar-benar dia mempelajari dan mencoba untuk menerapkan ya Andra ya.
Iya.
Itu gimana Andra menurut lo?
Step by step, one at a time.
Yep.
We see you like
step by step
That's part of the key is being patient with yourself.
Yes.
Having your goal, never forget it. Never sell out your goal, but be patient enough along the way. Because it might not be perfect from day one, okay? But if you're willing to work towards that, you'll get there.
Okay.
You just got to keep your vision clear in your mind about what you want. So I wanted that from 2004. 10 years before I met my wife. It was like I wanted, my wife stays home, takes care of the kids, and I have a single income, or my income is the only source, But it took years to get there. Years and years.
What is the first time you learn when you revert to Islam?
When is the first time?
Yeah, what's the first time you learn when you revert to Islam?
What was the first thing I learned?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
you read Quran or you read some book?
You practicing salah?
It was Quran only for a long time. I only read that because there's so much there. It's like, what else do I do? Oh my gosh, there's a long list.
Okay.
So I really focused on that and just what can I do next? Okay, I can do salat. I can learn that. I can learn fasting. But it wasn't until I got married that I actually began fasting. I think that's why I would say to my sons, get married as early as possible. If you can manage to get married young. I waited so long. I was so old. But if you can get married younger, your wife will inspire you to be a better man. And you'll want to do... It'll just make sense. Like, of course I'll fast with you. It's better to fast with two people than just by yourself. Yeah, so it was hard for me in the beginning to fast, and charity was the hardest part to do consistently well.
Charity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Zakat.
Zakat,
Zakat, yeah.
Charity zakat was
that was the hardest one to finally do properly.
How about memorizing surah? Is it the hardest part too?
I haven't really done that very much. I just do my best to remember the concepts and the ideas, but I would not be able to recite very well. Certainly not in Arabic anyway.
But at least you try to learn.
Yeah, we read the Quran every night.
Read
My
the
wife and I, we
Quran,
just read it. You know, we read it together.
Masya Allah.
So I think it's critically important to just keep on coming back to it again and again and again as a constant reminder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I memorize it in that way, just endless repetition, you know,
Okay.
through reading.
Andrew, could you describe to us how crazy a life without religion in Canada?
Yeah, you live in a world where the government literally wants to tell you what to do and tell you to do things that don't make any sense. So there's laws that have been passed preventing people from discussing things like, hello, this is a man, I think this is a woman, and there's like a law against doing this. Yeah, so I think when people just get separated from religion, they're kind of willing to receive these ideas that make no sense at all because they don't have any foundation of what's true and false, what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
Without that, you'll kind of be willing to believe anything, I think.
Okay.
So with the foundation of religion, you can say, wait a minute, the Quran says this. What you're saying is completely opposite. I'm going to go with the Quran. Thank you.
Okay.
Right? Because the Quran is it's supposed to be the standard. It's like, well, this is what we're supposed to be doing. Right?
Yeah.
And you're telling me to do the opposite. Which one do I choose? You know? So it should be the Quran is what I'm going with today. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And so the more the government tries to do opposite of what we're taught, the more it becomes a kind of oppression.
Yeah.
So the Quran taught me to seek out places where the oppression is the least, not where it's the most. So if you're living in an oppressive place where you can't say this, you can't say that, you should be considering leaving. Yeah, you should be going to a place where it's less oppressive. Yeah. So if they're telling you to do something opposite of the Quran and they're making it into a law where they can send you to prison, then you got to stop and wonder, what am I doing here?
Inshallah.
Yeah.
Your friend Ali from Bangladesh.
Yeah. If he's out there, hello. If you're out there,
Yeah,
Ali.
you should
God
thank
bless you.
him a
I
lot.
owe him a tremendous amount, even though at the time I thought he was really annoying. Talking about this Islam and Quran. What are you talking? I don't care about that.
Masya.
But I think he set me up on a new course in
You still
life.
contact with him?
No, unfortunately.
Oh, you lost contact?
Yeah, it's been 24 years. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think his credit is with God. So I feel
Mashallah.
okay
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I know.
His reward is with God for doing that.
Yeah.
So I would say to any Muslim not sure about mentioning Quran or at least talking reasonably with Christians or other religious people, you can start a dialogue with them. Because you never know how your words will impact others.
Wow, good point.
Like you never really know,
Yeah, yeah.
okay? Because what happened with me took years to make any difference.
Yeah.
Like I didn't pick up the Quran for 3 years afterward, you know. Based on what he said, though, I think those are connected.
Wow.
So it takes guts to say something, but he said something.
Brother Ali, thank you so much
Yeah.
for bringing Andrew here,
Thank you. Yes.
wherever you are.
Yeah, I'm so grateful.
Pahalanya luar biasa sih.
Masya Allah.
Yeah.
Si Brother Ali ini.
Brother Ali from Bangladesh.
Yeah. Yeah, he made a difference just with his words. Incredible.
Annoying at firstly.
At first, I didn't want to hear it.
Yeah. What's the most obvious difference between Indonesian people and Canadians?
Okay, you said most obvious, so I'm going to
Yeah.
go with that.
The most obvious.
Yeah. Okay, so there's certain behaviors that Indonesians will do that if you do the same thing in Canada, you will be dead. Yeah, so like it's kind of like a reckless, almost suicidal behavior. So I'll see here in Indonesia, I'll be driving a car like this, and there's a motorcycle ahead of me, to my left.
Yeah.
And we're just merrily going along. I'm talking to my wife, hey, and all of a sudden the motorcycle will just slowly drift into my lane. Okay, I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna stop, he's gonna slow down, everything's fine. But no, he just keeps on going. And if I don't stop or slow down, I will collide with his motorbike.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is never going to happen in Canada. If that man were to do that, he'd be on the concrete, bleeding. You know. Yeah. That's the most obvious to me.
Really?
That would never fly in Canada.
Have you ever thought coming back to Canada?
And living
Yeah,
there.
of course. I thought about it just to visit family.
Just to visit.
Just visit. Okay.
Yeah, that's the hardest part about being separated.
Yeah.
But it's never been a thought that I would move back there
Move
and
back
live
there.
there.
Okay.
Because when I moved here, I was totally committed to living here the rest of my days.
MashaAllah.
Yeah. And I think that's important to make that commitment up front, because there's so much adjustment that you need to do to live here properly.
Yeah.
And to be able to go through all that adjustment, you need to be really committed.
Yes.
Yeah. So I wouldn't want to live there again. Maybe until 2032 at the earliest. Like, my sons I think about the most, because by then my oldest will be about 18-ish by 2032. And I'm a little bit concerned that he may want to move back there.
Okay.
I hope not. But I would say, look, you really got to do your research.
Why?
What's coming next? I don't like what's coming next. In the
Okay.
next 6 years, it's going to be a dangerous time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after that, who knows what's going to happen? I'm not sure what form Canada will even take. Will it even be a country? I don't know. Will it be split up? What kind of government will be there? I don't know. Anyway, I know this is not a political discussion. But
I know.
It could be.
Enggak, tolong artiin deh Andre ya. Enggak mungkin salah satu dia kekhawatiran dia soal anak dia mau nikah sama orang Indonesia, itu bilang coba mungkin salah satu bisa dilakukan adalah menikahkan anak dia dengan orang Indonesia gitu loh.
Oh, okay.
Nah, coba Andra, tolong.
So are you worried about your son going back to Canada in 18?
Yeah, a little bit, because he's got the dual citizenship right now. So he holds both passports.
Maybe you can recommend him to marry Indonesian woman, maybe.
Yeah, like I said, I've got that goal for him, is to marry as early as possible.
Okay.
Along the lines of what I did. Yeah, hopefully.
Okay.
But it's his choice. Hopefully he'll stay here.
Amin, inshallah.
It's up to him. But if he looks at his dad's example and he does his own research, I'm convinced he'll come to the same conclusion, that this is a better place. And by then it should be a lot more obvious. Because in 2017, it wasn't really obvious that I've got to leave Canada. It wasn't urgent. I couldn't point to something and say, look at that evil happening. It wasn't like that. It was more like, how animals can sometimes sense that there's an earthquake coming or there's a tsunami. They act differently.
Yeah.
That was me. I could see like things were getting weird. I thought maybe I should leave.
Okay.
But by the time my son is in his teens, it should be very obvious. Like, don't go there. Stay away.
Mashallah, mashallah.
MasyaAllah. All the podcasts today we mess. But you said about your family, your principle, your journey. It's wonderful, mashallah.
Oh, thank you.
We amazed, and I have to tell to you, you have to learn bahasa.
Yes.
Yeah,
You're right.
you have to learn bahasa.
I have to learn.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to learn it properly. I'm very concerned because Google Translate doesn't work.
You have to use this.
Or that, but I want to be fully fluent so that
We
I
can
can
change
talk
knowledge.
Maybe
He teach us English and we teach him Indonesian.
Bahasa.
Yeah.
There's got to be
Ya, tapi kita bahasa Inggris kita juga.
So I will learn Indonesian, and you will learn English.
Yes.
We'll help each other. Because it's so sad. I get into a go-car and I can't even give instructions like, kiri, kalau kanan, kiri. I go, no, tidak, jangan. I don't know.
Okay.
So it's sad.
Because inshallah will help you in Indonesia.
Yeah.
And you teach a student or
Yeah, I teach English.
teach
For
English
student or
Student
for
or-
For
corporate.
school-age children between
Oh.
6 and about 12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I think it good when you learn bahasa because maybe some children have to speak in Indonesia too.
To
Right.
explain
Translate to
something.
Indonesia too.
I got it. Yeah,
Not only in English.
especially for the really little ones.
Yeah.
They have no English at all.
Yeah.
And
So
when
where do
you
you start?
when you fluently Andre.
Yeah, friendly.
Fluently in Indonesia, we can ajak dia jalan-jalan apa Indra?
Can take you on tours apa? Jalan-jalan apa kemana?
Jalan-jalan aja, jalan-jalan kita makan, main.
Yeah,
Apa
if
tuh?
you fluently Indonesian speaking, we can take you tours like
many place
many
in
place.
Indonesia maybe.
I'd love to.
We can ask. We can bring you Apa namanya? Bring ya, Andre?
Yeah, we can take you.
Take you.
Yeah.
We can take you.
Great. I'll give myself. How long should I? How long should it take me?
The target is 3 months. Okay.
Is it enough for you? 3 months to learn Indonesian?
Maybe not.
But
3
anyway,
years.
do you have any tips to learn English?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
What I do for my sons is we actually focus on other topics, so we don't focus directly on English.
Oh, okay. Topic, the topic.
Yeah, so my sons ended up liking math and numbers and stuff. So we found a YouTube channel about numbers called Number Blocks, and we would just have them watch that.
Okay.
And of course, all the content is in English, right? So they're just acquiring the language quite naturally. And I've met so many Indonesian children here that did the exact same thing, and they speak better than I do.
Oh,
Okay.
They speak 100% fluent just by watching videos and getting the subtitles on,
Yes,
and consistently trying, and of course making a decision to be an English speaker. Yeah, other ways to do it is to take some training. Like our company does training, which can also help quite a bit. Let's give you a more formal, structured approach to learning. If you don't like just sitting in front of a TV watching videos, there's that route as well, which can work really, very well.
So for basic, you can watch some cartoon or program that
Yeah,
speak
like
English
songs.
like that.
Songs are great, super simple songs. Everybody knows that one. Watching those would be a great start, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, having people around who speak English, right? So if
Yeah,
that's possible, that's another great way.
Like what we did.
Yes.
We're inviting you to upgrading our English.
It sets the context. You got to have a context first, a reason. Like,
Yeah.
why would I want to speak English?
Yes.
Everybody around me speaks Indonesian, so what do I need that for?
Yeah.
So you should have a reason, a goal that calls
Yeah, a
upon
goal,
you
Yes.
to speak English. Okay, I want to give a speech in English to 500 people. That's a pretty good reason to learn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the goals is we want our podcast goes international.
Amin.
We
Exactly.
want.
So that drives the need right now to learn the language.
But
Tapi
apparently,
di Indonesia bilang
it takes long than what we expect.
Bilang enggak, maksudnya kita di sini kesalahan kita kalau menurut gue ya, itu kita suka ngetawain orang yang salah, Indra.
Yeah.
Gimana tuh?
Common mistake in Indonesia is that when you speak English, they always make fun of you. Like, so Inggris lo gitu. That's a slang language. Ya.
Okay.
Apa ya? Kalau when we speak English, they always try to make fun of you.
I got it. Yeah, I met a child once who told me like, learning English is kind of dangerous for me. I go, what do you mean dangerous? English? No. He said, well, my buddies actually kind of beat up on me every time I try to learn English. It was this really negative loop. So trying to learn a new language like English apparently makes him look bad amongst his peers, right? And that's really, I think, devastating.
So one of the key is maybe stay confident. Yeah.
Stay confident.
Confidence about.
No. Confidence has nothing to do with it. It's all about courage. So
courage.
you gotta have courage to find new friends.
Oh.
Like when I was trying to be, a new Muslim, I mean, it was really hard to find new friends.
Okay.
But that's necessary, right? So if you want to find, new power to speak English, find new friends who speak English.
Yeah.
That's the single biggest difference. But if your friends are going to beat you up because you want to learn English, you should find new friends.
Ya, sama kayak dia juga. Kalau misalnya sama mau lingkungan yang baik ya ketemu sama ini. Kalau kita mau ada belajar bahasa Inggris ya ketemu sama lingkungan bahasa Inggris. Ini kan kita terpaksa nih.
Iya, harus terpaksa.
You need that support. Yeah, because it's not easy to learn a new language.
And now, Andrew, we have challenge for you.
Challenge.
Okay. Indra, silakan.
Okay, we have challenge like
No swear words though, right?
like what you did in TikTok.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you say challenge? Okay.
Challenge. Okay.
First one is
Jangan kasih tahu.
Okay, here we go.
number one.
Number one.
Okay, kolang kaling.
Okay. Good.
Number two.
Bedug. Sahur.
Oh,
Itu bisa.
Okay, I got that one.
too easy. Way too easy for you.
Ngaji.
Too easy.
Dua lagi apa?
I know I got the third one there.
Too easy.
My wife says, make sure to say sahur prayer.
Iya.
It's too easy.
Apa kira-kira? Yang bahasa Indonesia tapi yang agak ini gitu.
Bahasa Inggrisnya apa? Coba menyengsarakan.
menyengsarakan.
Okay.
Could you give me the correct version later?
Yeah.
It's already correct.
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
All
Yeah,
correct.
Oh, wow. Menyengsarakan.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yang panjang ada satu dong.
What does it mean?
Satu panjang.
Menyengsarakan.
Menyengsarakan.
Painful ya?
Painfully. Suffer.
Oh, suffering.
Suffering. Yeah.
Okay.
Apa Ndra? Itu. Ini satu lagi. The last. What?
Okay. Pertanggungjawaban.
Masya Allah.
Pertanggungjawaban. Okay, what does that mean? Help me, please.
Pertanggungjawaban apa?
Pertanggungjawaban.
Responsibility.
Responsibility.
Responsibility. Okay.
Yeah.
You can be our translator.
Pertanggungjawaban. That's a long one.
Okay, Andrew, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks
Thank you for
having me.
coming.
Yeah.
And please forgive for our English.
Our English.
Otherwise, my
Because you are a teacher. So. Kapan Ndra bilang ajak jalan-jalan lah kita.
Yeah. Next time we go travel around Jakarta, okay?
When I speak Indonesian.
Yeah. No.
No, anytime you have time,
Okay,
we can
I'm
travel
with you.
around Jakarta, and you can teach us English, and we
Yeah.
can teach you Indonesia.
That is awesome.
Okay, deal.
Once again, thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oke, teman-teman semua, Masya Allah nih ya, kita ngomong sama Andrew, tapi banyak yang kita dapatkan dan harusnya ini jadi tamparan buat kita semua bahwa bagaimana Andrew juga mencoba untuk menerapkan ya step by step juga ya, bagaimanapun juga ya pelan-pelan, tapi setidaknya bertumbuh atau progresnya ada gitu ya Andra ya.
Yeah.
Dan Masya Allah banget salah satunya bagaimana value yang diterapkan di dalam keluarga dia, bahwa memang core utama di dalam mencari nafkah itu di dalam sebuah rumah tangga adalah seorang suami dan istri itu dibutuhkan banget untuk mendidik anak-anak di rumah. Dan mudah-mudahan Allah mudahkan untuk kita semua bisa menerapkan hal-hal tersebut. Dan ini juga satu lagi, mudah-mudahan ini pasti pesan nasihat buat saya, Indra juga, dan buat teman-teman ya, bahwa bagaimana kita pelan-pelan juga menerapkan semua ajaran Islam di dalam kehidupan kita. Mohon maaf ya, bahasa Inggris kami parah banget.
Jangan dicontoh bahasa Inggris kami.
Tapi insya Allah Indra, ini jadi motivasi buat kita belajar Indra ya. Padahal saya udah ya gitulah, udah banyak belajar tapi gini-gini aja. Cuman setidaknya dengan ada Andrew di sini ya, setidaknya itu membuat kita makin semangat untuk belajar bahasa Inggris insya Allah. Oke? Sekali lagi terima kasih. Barakallahu fikum. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.